Hello and welcome to Brno in the Czech Republic for round 2 of the Ferrari Challenge for season 2013. The Ferrari Challenge Europe, which has already had its traditional season opener in Monza, as you can see there at the beginning of April. Here we are in Brno with Le Mans, Portimao, Hockenheim, Imola and the world final in Mugello in Italy to come. More information at corsaclienti.ferrari.com with all the information about the phenomenal Ferrari Challenge Europe racing. As you can see, the cars there on their way round to form the grid here in the Czech Republic, where the sun is shining. Heavy skies at the moment, some dark cloud overhead, but hopefully that is not going to trouble us too much at all, because at the moment the sun is shining, and that's great. There you can see the 3 sectors here at Brno. The 5.4 kilometer circuit here, which the Ferrari Challenge visits for round 2 of season 2013. Bit of wind blowing around, as you can see. Air temperature a nice 19 degrees, track temperature 6 degrees higher at 25. And on board we go as the cars come into grid. And the grid altogether different for 2013 because various penalties are being applied following success. It's like a form of success ballast, only it's in terms of grid position. It was Vincenzo Sauto who took pole position. A time he achieved on just the second of his 4 laps of running during quali. Second on the grid is Eric Prinot. David Gosner qualified with the 3rd fastest time, but he's going to start 5th on the grid. His place taken by Fons Skelterma. Great result for Cassel, who also have cars in 4th and 6th positions. And Lebed, who qualified 5th, will start 9th. And Adamski demoted from 7th to 13th. The reason for that is that it takes account of their success in the first round at Monza. So this is the first opportunity for them to have their penalties, success penalties, if you like, applied. As we look now at Eric Prinot, P2 on the grid then, the Ineco MP driver, Eric Prinot. See there with the familiar tint of his glasses, and there's our pole sitter, Vincenzo Sauto, who's also got the joy of wearing our helmet camera, although that may not be the case, as I'm just looking, I can see a camera on board the windscreen there, so perhaps Vincenzo is not wearing the helmet camera after all. But Vincenzo Sauto is then on pole position. Alongside, as we saw, was Eric Prinot. Then we see Fons Skelterma in the Shark's Teeth fronted car P3. Alongside Fons is Max Bianchi. Then we see David Gosner, who's on the 3rd row of the grid. Could be trouble for those in front of him, with David Gosner starting there, and alongside is Alexis Di Bernardi. Now let's take a look at Fons Skelterma then on the podium in his 2nd race in Monza. Shark's Teeth replicated not only on the front of the car but also on his crash helmet as well. There's Max Bianchi alongside. All prepared, and we get a thumbs up, which is nice, and 1 or 2 blown kisses as well. What a great sight it is to see the cars all formed up in the grid, including this man that could be danger from there. David Gosner. So he, one of those that has had a penalty applied for success, and that means he's further down the order than his qualifying would lend you to believe. We're on board with the Hublot safety car looking back, and you can see the cloud, the high cloud at the moment seems to be harmless, and we hope that remains the case. It would be fantastic to get this first race away and complete in nothing but dry and sunny conditions. So you hear the buzzers going, which will alert those that are not absolutely essential to be on the grid to get off the grid formation. 30-second race, 30-minute race as opposed to 30 seconds. So Thomas Kukuka. And here is the grid then in full for you. Vincenzo Sauto then on pole, alongside is Eric Prinot. Then we see Fons Skeltermar P3, with Max Bianchi then, the Kessel driver, P4 on the grid. David Gosner then, keep an eye on him from P5. Alexis Di Bernardi, good showing from Alexis, P6. Kukuka then P7, and Gosner, Thomas Gosner, P8. Then it's Lebed, Lindroth, Eric Chung and Philippe Barreros occupying the next two rows of the grid. As we look at row 7 with Dirk Adamski and Socio Del Pret, and Daniel Quensley and Galassi then on row 8. Then it's Roger Ida, Christian Kinch, Dieter Schenk on row 10 with Jakobek alongside, and Scudieri, Butuza, Rupert Martin, the English driver, and Lovett alongside with Holger Langer from Garage Foytek team, bringing up the rear of the grid on row 13, P25. As we look now at Andre Lebed. Expect good things from Andre, the Team Ukrainer driver. And on board then from that camera, atop the windscreen of Vincenzo Sauto's car, our pole-sitting car. You can see there on the clock, just 3 minutes await these drivers before the official start of this race. This is our onboard look from Dirk Adamski. Dirk Adamski taking a deserved win in Monza. It was great to see. And once again, the buzzers go to alert everyone to leave the formation area. Daniel Quensley then. Saw him very, very briefly as we were making our way to the comms booth here at Brno. Good crowd here to watch the Ferrari Challenge this afternoon. Great to see. Weather conditions perfect for some fine, fine Ferrari racing, I don't doubt.
Welcome to the Brno track in Czech Republic. We just went through the last corner, which is obviously very important to pick up the speed for the start-finish line, which is here quite long. At 100 meters, braking to the first curve, which is very, very long and very, very fast. This is the main feature of the Masaryk circuit in Brno. Now full power with the fifth gear to another straight line, also quite long, close to 1 kilometer, and braking again at around 100 meters to the slow and technical part of the circuit. The curves here in the Brno circuit have no names actually, only two names which I come across. Now going down to the most famous section of the circuit called Stadium, again braking 100 meters, and now in the Stadium full power at fourth gear, another right-handed curve, again full power fourth gear, now third, quite slow, technical, still, and again full power, still in the Stadium passage, and going out of the Stadium, again third. Now we have to go out of this corner very, very precise, because we are going to the longest straight again here, which is going down, so again a lot of speed is picked up, braking at around 100, and again very fast corner going full power at fourth, which is called Schwanz corner, and now the passage which is going uphill, and the hill in Brno here is quite high, so again no mistakes can be done, because any mistake and you lose a lot of power. Now the passage which is really going up, full third, fourth and fifth gear, going to the last two corners of the circuit, which are again at fourth, they are quite speedy, and the last corner, which I said had to be really, really good, because then you go to the start-finish line, and that's it from Brno, Czech Republic.
And a big thanks to Robert Pergel then, the driver there. and the race about to get underway. So Robert Pergel then, the Scuderia Prague driver, taking us round the circuit there with only 2 names on 2 of the corners, which I sadly didn't write down quite in time, which was regrettable, but thanks very much, Robert. It's great to see those onboard laps and for him to give us an indication of what it's like. Saw him really seesawing at the wheel there, trying to control the oversteer from his car. So brilliant, and thanks very much to Robert Pergel for that. Cars away then on their formation lap. We're on board with Vincenzo Sauto then. Vincenzo having a great time of it this early stages of the season. Was on the podium in race 2 at Monza. Took a very, very well-deserved P2 in that race, so he'll be hoping to capitalise on a supreme quali here at Brno and convert that P1 qualifying position to P1 on the podium. In just 30 minutes' time, we will find out if that is the case. The Hublot safety car then leads these Ferrari 458s, 4,400 cc's of immense power around this Brno circuit. And there we can see Prenot and Sauto. We're on board looking backwards from Daniel Quensley's Kessel racing car. Kessel, of course, one of the big teams in the Ferrari Challenge, also racing other GT categories as well. Cars weaving from side to side, trying to put just a little bit of warmth into these Pirelli tyres. So it's going to be Sauto from Prenot, then Scheltemann, Bianchi and David Gosner and Alexis Di Bernardi. The best qualifying we've seen from Alexis Di Bernardi in that car, right in the bottom of your screen now. The white, black and blue fronted 458, the Luxembourg driver. Here's some of the messages being passed through to the safety car. The race stewards are happy when the cars approach the final part of this circuit. Then the safety car will peel off. The cars will grid up into a grid formation and will be away and racing. And expect quite a drag down to the first right-hander, as you saw the officials in the safety car telling those guys behind to get into grid formation. And then the safety car will light up effectively and clear out of the way. And it will be down to the front row pairing of Vincenzo Sauto and Eric Prenot to effectively pace the start of the race. So safety car lights up then, as I indicated, and gets out of the way. And it will be down to these two now to control this rolling start. All eyes on the lights and the caption in the left-hand top of your screen. 30 minutes goes on the clock of hot rocking Ferrari Challenge racing, and away we go. We have a green, and Sauto doing, there's Alexis Di Bernardi already under some pressure. Look at Dirk Adamski trying to move up through the pack in car number 199. Von Scheltemann P3. So Sauto did exactly what he needed to do and controlled from the off as Dirk Adamski is making great headway through the pack at the moment. Von Scheltemann is under a bit of pressure for his P3 place. So through sector 1 we go with Sauto, Prenot, Scheltemann and Max Bianchi. P4. Alexis Di Bernardi on the move as well in P7. There's Dirk Adamski. Also on the move is the yellow and blue livery of Andrei Lebed from the Team Ukraine. Through the chicane they go. And this on board, see a little bit of contact there between Thomas Gosner. Well, I have to say, one of the cleaner starts that we've seen from the Coppa Shell category of the Ferrari Challenge. And good to see that. Andre Lebed just taking a look up the inside. So the one under pressure at the moment in the leading pack of three is von Skeltermaar in P3. But Vincenzo Sauto seems to have it all completely under control right at the front. So there you can see the pressure that Skeltermaar is under. There's a big pack of cars right behind him. Sauto, it is that leads from Brno. Then it's Skeltermaar, Gosner, Bianchi, Kukuka, Di Bernardi, Dirk Adamski, P8. And Adamski right on the back of Alexis Di Bernardi now. So Adamski, after he received that success penalty of 6 positions, has made great ground. On board with our race leader then, with a clear track in front of him, Vincenzo Sauto, the Rosso Corsa Pellin driver. Just hear him work in the gearbox in this Ferrari 458. Eric Prinot, though, keeping with him within 8/10 of keeping with him. And then look at Dirk Adamski getting past Alexis Di Bernardi there. He is slicing through the pack. So further down the order, Felipe Barreros there in 162, being passed by Daniel Gwensley. But there is the battle for P3, and it's David Gosner at the moment who is hounding von Skeltermaar. Von's absolutely determined to be back on the podium again, as we see a spinner from Felipe Barreros. We just saw the back end of that spin. See if there was any contact involved in that. Brilliant TV production that we have here. We'll get a replay of that very, very quickly indeed. But we saw him going around. Oh, sorry, we didn't see him going around. We saw him coming back on, having gone around. So Lebed there making a move as well. We just saw in shot. But back to the front of the pack then. And it is Vincenzo Sauto then, who now has opened up his lead over Eric Prinot by another couple of tenths. And then there's this queue behind, von Skeltermaar of David Gosner and Max Bianchi. Crossing the line they go, 1, 2. Now the 3, 4, 5 and 6. Dirk Adamski up to 7th place. There's Thomas Kukuka then in car 190. Now this is interesting. Fastest lap of the race so far comes from our man that's under pressure in P3, von Skeltermaar, with a 2:09.816, the fastest lap of the race so far. And right now, Von's not under quite the pressure he was, as he belts in that fastest lap, trying to get away from the clutches of Gosner and Bianchi just behind. There's your race leader. There's P2, P3, 4, 5 and 6 and 7 coming through there. Don't know if you noticed how Dirk Adamski got the back end of the car stepping out there and just managed to hold on to it. Max Bianchi with a problem. So there we can see Bianchi had some issue. That sent him behind Kukuka, and I think he's gone further back than that now. So there is Max Bianchi. Sauto from Prinot, from von Skeltermaar. then it's Gostner, then Kukuka. Adamski then in P7. Bernardi, there is Dirk Adamski. Bernardi behind him as off goes Marcel Pertusa. Just clunks into the tyre barriers. So something wrong there for Pertusa. Just carried too much speed. Chucked the car sideways to scrub off the speed, which he did in effect, and then just kissed the tyre barrier as he was going diving past Rupert Martin, just unable to make that turn, and just had to get the car sideways in the gravel trap to scrub off the speed to avoid huge damage, which he did rather well. But of course, had he not taken so much, tried to carry so much speed into the corner, he'd have been able to make it. So into the pits came Quensley, who's back out now. There he is, the Kessel Racing driver. So that will have knocked him well down the order. And still the battle's raging beyond von Skeltermaar. The battle for 5th position then between Kukuka and Bianchi. Interesting to note that Dirk Adamski, who we've been saying has made fantastic progress through the pack, is under investigation regarding the start. Now, we will get a replay of the start. Wonder if it was deemed that he maybe jumped that start, perhaps. Stewards will be investigating that after the race. Sauto, Prinot, Skeltermaar, Gostner, Kukuka, then Max Bianchi, then the 1 through 6. And von Skeltermaar, well, he's doing a good job there in P3. Said to Nico, my associate alongside of myself, that he's determined to get back on the podium. He tasted the podium at Monza and wants to be back there here in the Czech Republic. And, well, going the right way about it is now Sauto. Comes under pressure from Eric Prinot. So the battle out front is between these two, Vincenzo Sauto and Eric Prinot. Sauto racing in his 60s. And Eric Prinot, no spring chicken either, but they're showing some of the young uns behind them a clean pair of heels right at the front of the pack. And at the moment, Vincenzo Sauto doing a great job there. Oh, out goes Pertusa, as we expected. Carting a load of gravel down the pit lane as he goes, but won't cause any problems for the drivers out on track, thankfully. So he will have been able to make it to the pit lane without an incursion onto the circuit at all. There's our 3rd place driver, von Skeltermaar. There's our race leader, who is definitely coming under the clutches and the attention of Eric Prinot. Big race going on here for the lead, and a good battle as well. So on board we go with our race leader, Vincenzo Sauto, the Rosso Corsa Pellin driver. Now, bear in mind, he's the driver right behind him, Eric Prinot. Vincenzo Sauto and Eric Prinot were a pair in the Coppa Shell for a number of years, and now racing on a soleless basis. That partnership worked well since the early 2000s, but now they've gone their own way, and they're chasing each other on the track. So Vincenzo Sauto is that leads from Eric Prinot. Then it's this man, von Skeltermaar, in 3rd place. Then it's David Gostner in P4. So crossing the start-finish line and past the start-finish straight, and our comms booth window go the race leaders. And now once again, von Skeltermaar is beginning to feel the pressure of the pack behind him. Just over 18.5 minutes remain in this race, which has been exciting from the off, to be truthful. And there you can see Fons under real pressure now as Gosner is biding his time, trying to pressure Fons Skeltermar into maybe making an uncharacteristic mistake, it has to be said, just to give him the legs and the edge to get past. So too, that game that Eric Prinot is playing behind Vincenzo Salto at the moment, trying to find a way just to maybe unsettle him through the chicane, heavy braking into the second part of that. So Salto, Prinot, and then the Skeltermar, Gosner, Kukuka, Bianchi, Adamski battle that rages behind. Last time lap around, the difference between our race leaders, Salto and Prinot in P2, just 0.5 of a second. So Max Bianchi there. And here is a replay of the start. Well, not just, yeah. To be fair, Dirk Adamski did seem to get one heck of a start. So that's why he's going to be under investigation, and Stewart's going to look at that after the race. So back live once again. Salto from Prinot, 5, very nearly 0.6 the difference. Then a further 2.5 seconds back comes our P3 place man at the moment, Fons Skeltermar, the Netherlands-based driver with the shark's teeth, menacing through our TV screens at the moment. There's Dirk Adamski up to P7. Bear in mind, though, he is under investigation. The Autohaus Sargio driver, German driver, ever present in the Ferrari Challenge, really likeable guy. As we go on board with him now. Tries to make headway, and perhaps he made just a little bit too much headway right at the start of the race. So the gap between Adamski and Bianchi then some 0.7. The battle for 6th and 7th place. And Dirk beginning to just try and get onto the back of that pack. Still Salto is under pressure from Prinot, and still Skeltermar is feeling the pressure of that pack behind him. It's an interesting strategic position for Dirk Adamski. Does he try and get involved in the battle ahead of him and perhaps run the risk of really wasting his tyres, or stay calm and wait for the pack ahead to make a mess? And of course he can pick the pieces up. Well, we will see. As this race plays out, we just about reach half distance as we go on board with our race leader, Vincenzo Salto. Hear him working the 458, just picking up the apex there across the rumble strip. Been driving very, very good, clean and precise laps. The fastest lap still remains with Fons Skeltermar in P3 at the moment. That came on lap 2. That time a 2:09.816. Compare that with our race leader at the moment. There he is. His last lap was 2:10.617. So Fons was quick on lap 2 as Prinot once again just takes a look up the inside of the right-hander. Not able to make a passing move, though. The gap, though, has come down a couple of tenths. It is down to just 0.3 from the last lap. And there you can see, over the last few laps, how the gap has seesawed. Very, very little. 4, increased 5, increased 6, now back down to 0.3. So the rest of the pack, you can see scrolling across the top of your screen their positions and where they're at. Good showing for Rupert Martin, we must mention, in P17. The Stratstone Ferrari FF Corsa Dextra car. And now on the back of that pack is Dirk Adamski, who as Nico has pointed out, is probably just playing a safe waiting game and just trying to manage his tyres. Motor racing at the moment, it seems to be that it's all about strategy and tyre management at the moment. However, these two, the strategy is to, certainly from Salto's point of view, to keep his nose in front. Able to do that at the moment from Eric Prinot, who's chasing hard, and these two have built up a tidy couple of seconds over the third place battle, which is being led at the moment for that P3 by Fons Skeltermar, as it has from the very start of the race. So the graphic there reminding you that Fons Skeltermar it is with the fastest lap. And there he is, driving that Kessel racing car. But now, looking just a little, perhaps a little bit more ragged than he has over the last few laps, as David Gosner tries to find just half a gap for him to put his nose into. Fons, though, a very experienced racer, been loyal to the Ferrari Challenge for some years. Some dust kicking up at the back there, we saw, whether there was someone with an off. Bianchi now with Dirk Adamski for company. And as he's been defending, so he is losing out to the P5 car of Thomas Kukuka. He's having to spend his time watching the rearview mirror and defend hard. It's Salto then from Prinot and Skeltermar. Just 11 minutes remain. Where has the time gone? So through the chicane they go uphill. Dirk Adamski taking a lot of curb there. And there further back down the order is Rupert Martin. Looks like there's a little bit of contact on the front of Rupert Martin's car. He under some pressure from Felipe Barreros that we saw have a spin earlier. Paulo Scuderia also in there, and there we can see very, very ragged as Barreros went off again. So now behind Rupert Martin, who's up to P16. So now Andre Lebed, interestingly, has disappeared off of our timing screen. So we'll doubtless find out what happened to Andre Lebed. Promised much in this race, has actually delivered not. But we will find out why. So the gap at the front then continues to seesaw. It's 0.5 of a second now between Salto and Prinot, and we're on board with our race leader, Vincenzo Salto, the Rosso Corsa Pelin car, who has consistently driven every lap very well. Salto, Prinot, then Skeltermar, you can see there in the center of your screen, who has seen off the clutches of David Gosner and Thomas Kukuka just for the moment. And lining up behind Rupert Martin here once again. it is Felipe Barreros and Paulo Scudieri all trying to find their way past, and Barreros nearly losing out there to Paulo. Dieter Schenk is in there for good measure as well. So P16 at the moment for Rupert Martin, who was racing at Brands Hatch in the UK just last weekend. And again, looking very ragged there was Barreros. Rupert clean and tidy in the familiar yellow Dextra colours. Again, Prinot taking a look at Salto, and he's closer now than he has been for a number of laps. So with 7.5 minutes remaining, is this when we're going to see perhaps a change at the front in this first of the Coppa Shell races? First of two across this weekend here in the Czech Republic. Salto leads from Eric Prinot. There is von Skeltermar third place, David Gosner fourth. All it will take for Eric Prinot is one tiny mistake from Vincenzo Salto, and that will be enough. And Prinot is in every one of his wheel tracks at the moment. 4 tenths is all it is between them. Now both Vincenzo Salto and Eric Prinot racing in the separate Coppa Gentleman Trophy as well. It could be that Salto cleans up both categories. The Coppa Shell race and the Coppa Gentleman Trophy, the way things are looking. But Prinot still keeping his challenge there. So too, Dirk Adamski having to defend hard now. So pitboard going out to tell Eric Prinot. 6 tenths behind now. But that can change from one turn to the next. Von Skeltermar still holding firm in third. David Gosner still trying everything he can to find a way past Fons. Dirk Adamski at the back of that pack then in P7. And that pack of 5 cars there. Fons at the front of that pack, and Dirk at the back, and in between is Gosner, Kukuka and Bianchi. So just 5 minutes left to run in this race. And this is when the guys that are chasing position are going to have to step up to the mark and push just that little bit harder, which of course can equally mean success or disaster. If they push too hard, Salto leading. Prinot, we're on board with Salto. Prinot follows 6 tenths behind. Again, you can see there on that graphic at the bottom of your screen just how that gap between them has seesawed over the last few laps. Prinot goes in with a less conventional line than Salto. Didn't pay off. So on board, we were there momentarily with the Cassel team. look at the difference in the lap times over the last lap. Just a difference of 1/10, that's all. So all of a sudden the charge from Prinot appears to have gone off a little bit. Or is he going to wait for a last lap lunge? Oh, and von Skeltermar still under pressure from Gostner. Now Prinot. Obviously a problem for Eric Prinot, who's falling back down the order. It's back down to P5 now. Vincenzo Salto then still leads, but von Skeltermar now into P2. Gostner into P3. And Prinot is being passed by everybody. Now, whether he has a puncture or whether there is some mechanical failure with the car, he is going backwards. Dirk Adamski is trying to do two at once here. And he's done it. Brilliant move from Dirk Adamski, who took the slowing Eric Prinot and Max Bianchi at the same time. Bianchi tries to fight back. Well, in the closing stages of this race, didn't think it could get any more exciting. We're on board with Dirk Adamski. Now, what went wrong here? So there you can see Prinot begin to slow, and the pack to, you know, just to be able to pass him with no challenge whatsoever. Still out there and on track, and down there in P7. Whether it's a deflating tyre or something. There's Thomas Gostner. There's von Skeltermar, and David Gostner can now smell the potential of P2. Wants to be on the podium, but P2 is better than P3. And he's trying to find a way past von Skeltermar, to be fair, as he has tried to do all race long. It is the final lap, the final countdown, as these guys head for the checkered flag. Von Skeltermar, who has defended so brilliantly for the entire race, finds himself elevated up to P2, courtesy of Eric Prinot's failing car. Is he going to hold on to P2? Salto, unless something goes wrong, looks safe for the win. But it's the battle for P2 and 3 that is absolutely riveting. Von Skeltermar it is. Gostner's going to take a dive up the inside, surely. No, he's not close enough to do so. There is our race leader. Then P2 and P3 come into shot. The long uphill passage here at Brno. So Vincenzo Salto then heading for the checkered flag. Rounds the final turn. Takes the win. And Skeltermar takes P2. Gostner takes P3. And the rest of the pack come through. So Prinot eventually P8. Adamski P5, then it's Bianchi P6, Di Bernardi P7. P8, as I said, Eric Prinot, then Gostner, Chung, Telpret, Galassi. as the checkered flag continues to wave on the placemen further down the order. And what a race from Vincenzo Sauto. Did everything exactly right. Didn't falter to the pressure that he had to endure for the greater majority of the race from Eric Prenot. David Gosner there takes P3. And to be fair, took that P3 at the expense of Eric Prenot, who we will find out had a problem at some point. So Vincenzo Sauto then our race winner. Von Skeltermar P2, David Gosner P3. There is David Gosner then, hand out the window, thumbs up. So I think it's fair to say that when we see Vincenzo Sauto jump out of his 4.58, might be just a little bead of sweat upon his brow. And do remember that even though it's showing us good Eric Chung to take P10, then Socio Del Prat, Galassi, Tommy Lindroth, Roger Eder, Jakubik P15, Felipe Barreros 16, eventually getting past Rupert Martin in P17 with Scudieri, Schenk, Lovett, Quensley, Kinch and Langer bringing up the rear. Andre Lebed then, we don't know what happened to him. Batuza we saw kissing the tyre barriers.